They called off the strike at like 7:15 tonight. Yes, there were rumors in the press that they would do it, but they really should have, continued the debate a little further within their own ranks. But I mean, we've seen, you know, uh, heavy-handedness from the international, which while supporting the strike, still was constantly trying to maneuver and do things a lot differently than we would, a lot differently than Boston would. And, you know, um, people, as you saw up to yesterday, were like, let's put from Bloomberg wherever he goes. And we didn't just hear about that from uh, individual rank and file members. We heard about it from the secretary to the president of the local, but the pressure is on them. The screws are tightened, and at some level, they thought they had to do this for whoever they want to please. But there's still the the 8,800 active members and the other members, but that's not really my role. I'm a parent. We're the parents. We're going to organize regardless, and we've always tried to be like, the conscience of that, and uh, to set an example that don't just have your 12 or whatever executive board members trying to do everything. Deputize everybody and let them go. And in some regards, that was taken up, and there were squads putting out the leaflets, as I said, our leaflets as well as their leaflets that they got, printed by the state AFL, CIO, or the Central Labor Council, or the International. So there's still those two competing currents within this branch of labor. The ones that are focused, and a broad majority of them are focused on fighting the mayor, hating Bloomberg. He's a billionaire. He doesn't care about the kids. He's a union buster. And of course, it's more than just him. The topics like him getting money from the MTA, Chase Bank, that comes up. Him having connections, all his no bid, Kathy Black, the stuff with the attacks on the teachers, the attacks on the custodians, the school aides, the daycare workers, the fact that none of the city workers have a new contract, you know. So all of those things mean that you have a very infuriated, sector, and it is strong, beautiful, multinational, a lot of women, and with this close affinity to the disabled movement or community as well. And I mean, there still is a groundwork that we want to build on. We still want to have, a fight for what's right. School bus should be proper. It should be good transportation, and it is a part of the education. It's where it begins for a lot of kids. So, you know, we gotta listen. We have to monitor what goes on there, but we also have to continue our own campaign. A lot of the instinct of a lot of parents, and even some of these more mainstream parent advocates, was to reject an attack on seniority for the sincere reason that they want the kids safe. And also some of them have cooperated with the DOE to create training modules, and now that's thrown out the window because it's okay to give somebody a 4-hour video lesson and stick them on the bus. So the Citywide Council on Special Education issued a letter to Chancellor Walcott. It was the same day as the march, so we couldn't announce it there. But they had a very strongly worded statement, and it was this close to saying, we say no to scab buses. It really was. And at the same time saying the things that we're saying, that the kids' rights to the services on their IEP are being violated. Transportation is one of them, and everything else. A lot of people calling us and writing and hitting the Facebook and saying, I don't want to put my kids on a replacement bus. And a lot of it was class consciousness. Safety, but also class consciousness, that we're workers too, why would anybody think that we're going to reject the idea of protection for other workers? And we have met a lot of good people through this, and we're going to, hold on to them and push. Um, we had a two who went out to the line in Liberty and Sheffield by Maxwell High School. So what's that? Best Side. I know it's in Charles Barron District, East New York. Yeah, because that's how he got involved. And we had carnations. We had packs of candy. Um, and then we had somebody else go to the Ridgewood Atlantic Express, and she had bags of candy with confetti and lollipops and whatever. And of course, it was well received, and this is like the kind of bond that should always be between the community that needs a service and the workers who provide that service. All right, in the tradition, bread and roses. The only other thing that, hold on, speaking. Um, so many things happened. I forgot to mention that there were these city council hearings. Uh, the city council can't get involved in labor thing as such, but labor dispute as such. So they called, two of the committees called a hearing on the cost of school busing to try to chip away at the thing that was being put forth, that it's so expensive and it's wasteful and it has to get rid of the EPP so that it would be, more reasonable expenditure and this and that. So, we went along with that on experiences that, again, Boston had where the progressive and black and Latino city council people had an instrumental, role in some of those struggles around busing in Boston. So just to say that a lot of things, a lot of different tactics were tried, and I think that was also something that, the union leadership felt comfortable and placed a lot of eggs in that basket and was, really looking for us to come, seeing who could we bring. They wanted to have a good composition. They wanted to show, different cross-section of the disability community and so forth. But what I want to say about the caravan is that it's another form of people's media, because if you have 26, 30, 40 vehicles that have from front to back kids' drawings, professionally and hand-lettered signs, union signs, community signs, like I said, kids' artwork, all saying, here's what's happening, no matter what the newspaper tells you, and if you have people going from corner to corner, door to door with leaflets, that's another form of media. So don't discount that, even as we do the technology and we do try to insert our voice into, the existing big business media and the people's media. And Milagros is still every Saturday between 7 and 9 on the 89.3 FM digital in the Bronx, the Occupy en Espanol radio station. So, we that's another access that we do have. But we still, we got those twin goals: safety for children, justice for workers.